Welcome to the jungle. They got games and something where the ghosts go into the house and spook the shit out of everyone. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Yo, what is happening, people? It's a beautiful day to be alive. Am I right? I hope I'm right. I could be wrong. I'm usually wrong. So what is going on, everybody? How's it all shaking out there? Welcome to another podcast episode 104 of the show. With me, my birth name is Michael. My family name is Labs. My middle name was Roy, which comes from my grandfather, who is currently, he's still alive. On my dad's side, he's still alive. He's German. He did something that was secret that I don't know about for a career. My grandma was a botanist. I think she was a professor of botany, which is the study of plants, which is fucking awesome because plants, boom, that's going to get this video demonetized because I cursed within the first 5 minutes because apparently on YouTube, you can't curse because there's a possibility that a kid might hear the video. But in my opinion, I think it should be the parents' responsibility to control what their kids can and can't watch. And I would hear an argument all the time, because I hear it all the time, is that it is pretty much impossible to do that. But then I would argue, well, that's what makes a parent so difficult. It is hard to be a parent. Therefore, I don't know. I went on a tangent there. But yeah, that's where they met. No, I don't think they met there, but they both were professors. One was a professor for botany, I believe, and the other one was a professor for history. And yeah, so that's what's going on. That's how I got my name, Roy, from my grandfather. My on my dad's side, Germans, and then from my mother's side, both of them have passed away, unfortunately. I don't think I ever met my grandpa on my mom's side. I don't believe so. If my family's out there watching this, I apologize, but I don't believe I met him. But he was a World War II veteran. He fought for us. He died for us. He fought off the Nazis during World War II. He passed away of cancer. He would smoke a shitload of Marlboro Reds, which, is like, it's kind of cool, in like a sense that like it's got that that gritty feeling to it, like a war veteran plus cigarettes. It kind of gives you that like, whoa, he was a badass motherfucker. But I never met him, but I'm sure he's a great dude. My mom's a great person. My grandmother was the sweetest woman in the world. Like, I get teary-eyed thinking about her. There's a picture of her with my mother on the fridge, and I threw my shirt in the trash can. Shit, I did not mean to do that. But yeah, I wish I met him, didn't meet him. But yeah, shout out to my grandparents, shout out to my grandparents, because that's how I decided to open up this podcast, is talk about my grandparents. And I did not do that. I did not intend for that to happen, but that's how I got my name, Michael, because my parents from birth, Diet Coke, man. So good. My parents from birth went ahead and they're police officers, and in the Catholic faith, St. Michael's is the patron saint of military and first responders. So I was the first kid in their life, so they saw me and they're like, he's going to watch over us. I'm a little fucking fetus just popping out of the womb, and they expect me to watch over them. That's some big shoes to fill. But that's how I got my name, Michael. And then Labs came down from Germany. The other side was Potter. Obviously, the patriarchy wins when it comes to last names. Matriarchy has to take the back seat on that one. The patriarchy takes on that one. So Labs took over and dominated. Dude, the one thing it's not that I don't trust it. It's not that I think it's weird. I fully respect it, but every time I hear it, it makes me just take a step back, makes me think a little bit harder about who I'm talking to. No, I mean, I'm definitely judging a little bit, but not in a negative way, just trying to figure it out, When I meet somebody that has a hyphenated last name, like if Taylor and I were to get married, it'd be Labs Boyd. It's just a weird thing, like if she wanted to take her last name and use it as our last name, I wouldn't, that would be fine with me. I don't hold like a personality with my last name because I think those days are over. Like medieval times are over. Maybe that's just me and I sound like a old white man, just using my power to overtake other people. But I feel like it's not a big deal, you know? Like if she was like, hey, I kind of want to use Boyd as the last name, I'd be like, okay, let's use Boyd as the last name. That's fine, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's how I got my name. St. Michael Labs. Don't know where that came from. There's a meaning that like downstairs on the first floor, like up against the basement, we have like what it actually means. It probably doesn't mean anything cool, you know? Who the hell knows? Or actually, and then it comes from Cockendorfer too, because that was my grandpa's last name. My grandma's last name on my dad's side is Cockendorfer, which is like Cockendorfer. It's like the most German name in the world. And I have a lot of family now that lives up in Wisconsin, obviously, because that's where all the Germans live. Wisconsin's like a little Germany. It's like it's so white. It's only white people that live up there. So yeah, so I got my name. I was talking to Taylor. I was like, dude, I'm gonna make an album. I'm going to make an album with this mic. Since I got to get a mic now, I'm going to talk, I'm going to sing, and I'm going to release an album like every other episode. Watch, between podcasts. Look, I'm kind of joking about it right now, but dude, watch, I'm going to make an album. Maybe not an album, but like songs, and release songs here and there. But yeah, man, how's everyone doing? I know it's crazy times out there. Shit's going down. Coronavirus is spiking again, which is weird because I think it's so hard to tell like what's actually going on. Is it spike? It is spiking. No shit, it's spiking. Not everyone got infected the first time. So of course, if the only way this thing goes away is if everybody gets infected, or if we get a vaccination. These are the only options. There's no other option. This is the only way, because that's how viruses work. That's how viruses have always worked. That's just kind of how it happens, you know. I'm interested to see which one comes first. If we develop herd immunity, which is when everybody gets the disease, or the virus in this case, if everyone gets it, then we all have it together, we all fight it off, then we build up an immunity against it. Or if we come out with a vaccine before that happens. I know Novavax, which I talked about a little bit on my last podcast, they're currently working on a clinical trial right now. I think they're about to roll out a 30,000 person clinical trial. They got a $1.4 billion loan, not a loan, but they were a grant from the old federal government. So we'll see. We will see where that goes. In the meantime, just wear your fucking mask, people. I get it. Like, I'm not stupid. I understand how you can get from point A to point B, and point A is please wear a mask, and point B is to taking away our freedom. I get it. Like, I could totally understand where you're coming from, because I think in a way they are taking away your freedom. But if you break down what freedom actually is, this country, the United States, we have so many freedoms. So many that we don't even know what to do with. So many that if one of them is even touched upon a little bit, we go into this weird scramble where we think all of our freedoms are about to be taken away, and that's just not true. It would be one thing if we were being told to wear a mask for no reason, right? It would be one thing if there was no virus and we all had to wear a mask. It would be one thing if we had to wear a mask because Donald Trump was like, I want these people to wear a mask. I would get it. I would understand. You're kind of infringing on my freedom or my human rights, which is a whole philosophical question. I'm probably not going to go on this podcast, but the idea of human rights is false. It's not really a real thing. The idea that you as a human being born has these certain rights doesn't exist. Look up Sam Harris human rights, and that's just my opinion, but I think it's not factual, but I think it's right. I've read a few books on it. I've listened to Sam Harris. I haven't read Sam Harris, but I do want to read him really bad. But it's I found it mainly in, I think it's Sapiens. I don't know where it is. Sapiens right there. Yuval Noah Harari talks about what is human rights. And it's really hard to define. It's not easy to define what a human right is. But there's something about once we're told to put on a mask, there's this idea that what's next? What's going to be taken away from us next? And what will be taken away from next is a shutdown of the economy again. That's just the truth. If you don't wear a mask, For some reason, that's way too hard. Shout out to Game of Thrones. It's like my favorite shirt. I know I'm leaning up a little bit after I had a large pizza the night before. I'm recording this on Saturday, and I need to record all my podcast right after I work out because I feel so good right now. I have so much energy right now. It's crazy. You guys probably know that because I started the podcast singing to you. What is that over there? It's like a cool book. That shouldn't be up there. I might start selling these books to people. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Game of Thrones, cool. Love it. Best TV show of all time. Oh, Netflix. I gotta stay. Let me write this down. Netflix. Bullfighting. Bull riding. Not cockfighting. Yeah, wear your mask, people. If you don't wear your mask, what is next? The next is the economy shuts down again. It's what's going to happen, and it sucks. And we don't want that. So just put on the fucking piece of cloth the same way you put on your socks and just go out in public that way. Like, Jesus Christ. And I know there's like studies that say that it doesn't do anything, but at the end of the day, a lot of things don't do a lot of things. Placebo is strong as hell. So let's just do it, get it over with, and then we can move on. And then we can all act like chimps, like we are. We can all act like our old selves. You know, let's try to be advanced here. Let's try to be smart here. And let's not keep killing old people. Like every time you don't wear a mask, I understand like you get this sense of I'm having my freedom stripped away, but at the end of the day, the numbers show that old people die from this thing. And I don't know if you don't love your grandma, if you don't love your grandpa or your older uncle or your cousin who's 25 years old but has a severe breathing disorder or has really bad issues with their health or terrible immune system. I don't know if you don't care about them or you hate them, or I don't know what it is, but if it's that hard for you to put on a piece of cloth over your face, you know, it's weird because I understand people's perspectives that it infringes on your rights, because I think in a weird way it does. But when there's an actual pandemic going on, like, it's just, fuck, man, it's just mind-boggling. But who gives a fuck, right? Do what you want. Don't listen to me. Who am I? I'm just drinking Diet Coke. I'm literally putting cancer in my body. I'm drinking a Diet Coke out of a Packers cup. And I hate glass. I hate drinking out of glass. But I am drinking out of glass right now. I hate drinking out of glass when God damn it, there's something in my cup. Fuck. I hate drinking out of glass when there's, I got it. Haha. When I have food in my mouth, I hate it. Like when you put the glass down, like a Thanksgiving dinner, or if I'm just eating with my girlfriend or anybody. If there's a lot of people with Taylor, it's weird saying my girlfriend. Just say her name, Taylor. It's weird because I hate it because people put down the glass, boom, they put it down. And then you can like see the food residue. And some people like take the glass and they put their entire mouth, like they put their entire mouth on it. That was so awkward, sorry. And they just go to town. It's disgusting. Like if I have to drink out of glass, like if I'm at a restaurant or if I'm eating out somewhere, if I'm at like Thanksgiving dinner, whatever the hell I'm doing, I will take a napkin and clean the glass. And that's why when I used to work at the restaurant, it was the worst at the restaurant, because the reason why it sucks so bad is when I was bar back, which is essentially the bartender's bitch, but not really. Bar backs can make a lot of money, but if you're under 21, you can't serve alcohol, but you can like pour alcohol and you can clean dishes and shit, take down dishes. Dude, I'm so happy I worked at the restaurant. And honestly, you know, sometimes I miss it. I miss the camaraderie of working at a restaurant. I do. I miss the fast pace. I'm a fast paced dude. I love just moving. And I miss that. I miss the money too. Like the money's good at a restaurant, bro. But yeah, wear your mask. That's my name, Michael Labs, and that's it on the show. I'm just kidding. I'm going to run over just a few things that I had pop up in my head, and I want to take this second out of the day. I don't know if my last podcast offended people. I didn't want to offend anybody with anything I said with the blackout today, 2020. I hope I wasn't offensive with anybody on that. on that little segment I did. I think I got a little carried away. And the other one was, is it offensive for a straight guy to have a sounding voice of a homosexual man? I hope that wasn't offensive. I didn't mean it to be offensive. There's a lot of things that I say and that just pop in my head, and I have a filter. If you can believe it or not, I have a filter, but it doesn't really exist all the time. I got a broken filter. Like, it's there, but sometimes it's damaged really bad. And it's weird because when you're doing a podcast, you're not talking to anybody directly. And when you're having a conversation with somebody in real life, you can see their eyes, you can see the way their mouth moves. That's one thing I hate about the mask is I can't see people's mouths, and I never realized how much I depend on people's mouths to have a conversation with them. But you can, looking at someone's face, their eyes, the way their eyes move, the way the mouth moves, the way their nose moves, the way the ears move, the way their body moves, you can kind of tell where the conversation is going. You can kind of tell when to pull back. You can kind of tell when to keep going forward. You can kind of tell when you guys can come together and agree on something, or when you should disagree on something, or where you should push back a little bit, or where you should pull back a little bit and push forward on. It helps a lot to have somebody there. So for anybody who has a podcast, or you can just imagine that it can be a little tricky at times to kind of put the brakes on and to pause for a second to think about what you're saying. And I don't want to edit my podcast because I don't think I should. I don't think I should edit my podcast because I think it's better I want to apologize if I say something that's really bad. And I just want to take a few, 2 minutes to just apologize if I did offend anyone. I don't think it was offensive. For me, I will be hyper concerned about the words I speak to somebody, to a group of people. So hyper concerned to the point where it will eat me up inside for weeks. And I don't even remember what it was, what I said, and I will see that person again, and I will punish myself, hoping that they punish me for what I said, and then if I remember it, I bring it up to them, I apologize, and they don't even remember it. It's a personality, it's a good personality trait to have, but it's hard to handle also because you just constantly second guessing yourself. So I don't think what I said was offensive, but if it was, I do apologize. And I think it was offensive because it kept me up a little bit. I talked to my girlfriend about it and it kind of bothered me, but I didn't want to go back and redo the podcast. Or I didn't want to go out and edit the podcast. I also would never redo a podcast. It's stupid because the reason why I love podcasts from people is because they're not edited. If I wanted to watch something that was edited, I would turn on a TV show, I would turn on radio, something that's scripted, but I like podcasts because it's not like that. Okay. I just want to go over a few things real quick. And then I'm just going to run off a few of these topics I have here. And then I will let you guys go. So I had a few people DM me actually saying how much they enjoyed the part where I talked about the stock market, or at least my stocks that I've bought in the stock market. I'm very transparent with with that. I don't think I have anything to hide from anybody. I won't tell you how many stocks I own, but I do want to kind of just I love Taylor so much. He's just a good person, man. If you guys can find look, here's my relationship advice. I'm gonna clip this out real quick and I'm gonna put it out there on Instagram and whatever. So I have here's my relationship advice before I get into the stocks. If you find somebody in this world and they listen to you speak, they can articulate what you say, they can understand what you say, they can form their own opinion about what you said, but they still listen to what you say. And not just with words, but with understanding it, and then they could translate to what you said into meaning, and then relay that meaning to make sure that they understood it the right way, you have a winner. You have a winner. I see so many people struggle so much in relationships because there's a failure to listen to people, because you have this, when someone says something, you go back to a moment in your life where you've heard something like this before and you assign a previous meaning to what somebody is saying. In your relationship, you cannot do that. You have to take a person and accept who they are as a person. You got to accept their past. You got to accept where they are presently. You also have to expect greatness from them. You have to expect them to do good things, but you have to be prepared for them to not do great things. But you have to apply a support system that allows them to go off in this world and do amazing things. But you have to listen to them, and you have to give meaning to what they say. People want to be heard. I say this all the time. I work in customer service. I've always worked in customer service. By the way, I'm young though. I'm only 23 years old. So what I'm saying here is from a 23-year-old's perspective. But if you're 16, 15, 14, I don't care, between 10 to 100 years old, I might say something here that helps you. You have to treat people, it sounds weird, but you should treat people like they're a baby almost. Like they want to be heard. People just want to be heard. People don't just want to be heard, they want to be listened to. And when they're listened to, they want you to know that you heard what they said. And the best way to make people feel like they've been heard is you say, I understand what you're saying. I know what you mean. And then you summarize what they said. And I think that is the fundamental, that's the building block of a relationship. It's like building a table. If you have a solid metal steel table, something that you love, it just at first sight just kind of bonded together, grew together. You don't want to go throughout the relationship and put in and plug wooden legs to the table, because it's gonna break. It's gonna break over time. It won't break all immediately, but you will snap a wooden leg every once in a while on the table. You already have the solid table, but you need to keep on applying sturdy steel metal legs to the table, underneath the table. The table is your relationship. You need to add strong structures to it, and that will allow you to build up a relationship where there's communication, there's trust, there's love, there's your best friend, and at the same time there's communication that allows for listening and transparency. So that's my 5 minutes of relationship advice with me. Anyways, so I mentioned a little bit on my last podcast about stock markets and what I have been investing in and what I plan to. I love it. It's a fad, and I know it's not a fad for me. This is going to be a forever thing. But it's a fad in the sense that I know a lot of people have been getting into stock markets lately, a lot of young people, because of Robinhood. That's what I use to trade, but also because people have time on their hands. People off work, people are realizing money's running out and you need to make money somehow, so they're investing. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think people who've been in the stock market for a while, have been trading on it for a while, and they made good money on it, they don't really want to, they like that, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, oh, they think they know what they're doing. Like I still do, but when I first started lifting, if I lifted for like a year and I saw a couple kids come in that were like only lifting for like 2 months, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here? But then the older I got, the more mature I got, I was like, oh wait, you have to start somewhere. So, and I'm making a lot of mistakes that I'm just not aware of, because if I was aware of them, I wouldn't be making the mistakes, because that would be stupid, because that's insanity. And I'm slightly insane, but I'm not that insane where if it's right in front of me, I will stop doing it. But I have put a decent amount of money in the stock market, at least enough for me. So I'm just going to share overall, go over the, I only own 6 stocks. The 6 stocks, I'm going to give you a reasoning on why I own these stocks. I'm not going to tell you how much. I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you what it is. And that's all. I'm not going to tell you how much I put in or how many stocks I own. Explaining my investments. That's a possible title of the podcast. and there's a few other things. Okay, anyways. So let me start with, the last two I share with you guys, I'm going to remind you, are the stocks that I actually just bought today on Saturday. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I own all these. Some of them are good reasons. Some of them are bad reasons. So this stock has made me the most money, the highest return. I'm up like 8% in this one over the past time that I have been investing, which isn't that long. I don't really know. I gotta look in to see when I bought it. But I'm just gonna say the past 3 months. I'm just gonna say the past month. I'm up 8%. So this stock that I bought, and I own multiple of them. It's made me the highest return on my investment. I'm up 8% since I bought it, and it's called PowerShares QQQ. It is one of the most reliable. It's one of the most reliable ETFs, and the reason why I bought it is because the reason why I bought it was because a guy at the gym he's a finance manager. I asked him, hey man, I have this much money, blah, 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 and I want to invest it. And I kind of just want to close my eyes and not look at it again for 5 years. Which one should I invest in? He said QQQ, S&P 500. And then he also said, I forget what it was. It was Vanguard something. Maybe it was a Vanguard S&P. But anyways, he told me QQQ, so I just bought it. I didn't even know what it was. But QQQ tracks modified market cap weighted index of 100 NASDAQ listed stocks. The FNR listed name for QQQ is Invesco QQQ. So they invest into the 100 NASDAQ listed stocks, the top 100. It's a very reliable ETF to buy into. The last year, they're up 37%. The past 5 years, they're up 147%. So it's a really dependable one. It's kind of a stock that I own, so I know I'm making money. I don't really look at it. I just kind of put it away and I let it do its thing, and I don't really care too much. I'm never going to take money out of it. I'm always going to put money into it each time my paycheck comes around. The dividend's pretty low on it. The dividend's only 0.62, so it's not even 1% on every stock that you own of it. But yeah, so I own that one. Second one I own is Fidelity MSCI Information Technology Index ETF. This one's currently selling for $85 right now. Over the past month, it's made about 5%. I own a decent amount of it. It's up, for me, it's up 2.3%, which is pretty good. Like I said, it's a lower price stock, but I wanted to get into the tech world ETF, but I didn't want to risk getting into it because I don't really trust my trading skills, and I don't have the time to do it. But I also don't trust my trading skills when it comes to tech companies, because they're good, right? They're great to get into, and the stock market has been blowing up because of the tech companies. Like Tesla's up like $600 the past week or past 2 weeks. Like, it's blowing up, and I like that, but I don't want to own it because it's expensive to get into, and like Amazon's up $3,000, and I just would rather have a professional deal with it, or have an ETF where it moves my money for me, so I can kind of just sit back and I can make the money off of it. This one, once again, has a low dividend, but it has a dividend at 1%. The PE ratio is 33.81, so it's about 34 years. I believe, if I'm right on what a PE is, it's going to take me about 34 years. I think I don't really know exactly what a PE is, but I bought it because it owns. It's a market cap index of stocks in the broad U.S. information technology sector. The FNR listed name for FTEC is Fidelity MSC. Blah 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 blah. So that's why I bought it, because I wanted to have some stock in the tech world, but I didn't want to have to sit there all day and pay attention to what was going on. So that's another ETF. So far, it's Fidelity MSCI Information Technology Index ETF and then PowerShares QQQ. Third one is one that I actually invested in. I've been investing in it pretty heavily. And over the past month, for me, it's up 42%. So it's growing really quickly. I don't know where it can go. It's called Square. Square is basically, so the reason why I bought Square, and it's kind of funny, but I read a book. I gave it to one of my buddies, AJ, at work. But I read a book, and basically the number one way to invest is if you use it a lot and you see yourself using it a lot and you like it, go ahead and buy a few shares of it. So I did that. And Square is, I believe it's owned. No, that's Swipe. Swipe is owned by Jack Dorsey. No, I think Jack Dorsey, the CEO and founder of Twitter, also owns Square. I believe so. I could be wrong in that. I guess I could say it right down here. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Jack Dorsey, who's the CEO and owner, founder of Twitter, also owns Square. And I'm just going to read you the professional of it. Square engages in the provision of credit card payment processing solutions. It is a cohesive commerce ecosystem that helps sellers start, run, and grow the businesses. The firm sellers download the Square mobile app, and then they can use it. Anyway, so the reason why I bought it is because I was going to this place called Rise Up Coffee a lot in Edgewater. Shout out to them. Once again, please sponsor me. I'm just kidding. You don't have to. Don't do it. But they're a growing company, and I noticed every time I was going there, since they don't want to touch your credit card, you would insert your credit card in the little machine. I was like, what is this machine called? And it's called Square what? I have crazy fucking people. I know crazy people. Like people that need help. But you can't say people need help anymore because then you become the enemy. It's like, it's fucked. We're just silly chimps. But I noticed I kept on using this box, and I was like this little insert thing. And they have like this little iPad. I think it was an iPad. But it has a software Square on it. So I was like, I can't be the only person using it, right? There's got to be billions of people, millions of companies that need it. And millions of companies are going to be transitioning to going online. Like a lot of these brick and mortar stores are going to shut down. And if you got to take emotions out of the stock market, I believe. By the way, I'm a rookie though. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. This is not financial advice at all. This is just me telling you what I have and why I did what I did. And I could be 100% wrong. I could be flat broke here in a month. Who knows? But I will learn from it. And all these stores that are storefronts will be going out of business. That's just the truth. And I took my emotions out of that. And as much as I don't want them to, they will be going out of business. So I was like, what are they going to do? They're going to go online. And I should have bought Shopify. If I knew about the stock market 5 years ago, I would have when I started my clothing company because I love Shopify. And it was so easy. I was telling people how easy it was to use. And boom, they blew up. If you invested in Shopify 5 years ago, you would have made a couple $1,000s off of it. I don't think they give out dividends yet. I know Square doesn't. But anyways, I was like, I'm going to buy it because I use it all the time. So I bought a decent amount of shares in it, and they've made me back my second highest amount of money besides QQQ. And they're a great company. I believe they're going to keep growing. A lot of investors, analysts say that they're going to kind of stall out here soon, and they might. And I might sell them in a year when everything starts cleaning back up. But I really think they're just going to keep growing. I think they're going to make a lot of accusations. I think they're going to buy things. And then I ultimately think they will get bought out by like a Google or by like a Facebook or something. And when that happens, then obviously I'll cash out then. But I bought Square because of that, because I saw them everywhere. I was like, why would I not own them? So here's another one called Itarius. This is one that it's a super low stock. It's only $4.50. It's down 50 cents in the past month, which is 10%. And I own a good amount of stocks. Like if you look at stocks, I own the most stocks from them, but they're really low, $4.50. And what they are, I think I might explain it before, but what they are is a company that, well, they've been beating out all the earnings every single quarter, which is good. They're a small company. They engage in traffic management in global agribusiness markets. I believe that the future of driving is Teslas and electric car companies and companies that are going to be using artificial intelligence to drive you around. And I want that. And I think that's just going to be the future. And I think if there's a company out there that has the ability to set up traffic lights, stop signs, anything like that, that can hook up to your artificial intelligent car and can hook up, and when you're pulling up to a stop sign, it can register that you're pulling up, and it slows you down for you, and it picks up your tag, and it just collects data on you and all that good stuff. I think that is a good company to buy. And I saw them, and I liked them for a long-term investment, like a long-term investment. So I went ahead and I bought a bunch of shares of them. I'm going to hold them for at least 10, 15 years, maybe even longer, because I'm not going to lose much. I could lose, the hundreds and hundreds of dollars I invest in them, but that's okay. But I really do think they're going to do super well. And I think they have the ability to get bought out by a big company. And like over the past month, they're down 10%, but over the past 3 months, they're up 32%, so I think that they're a good buy. Over the past 5 years, they're up 163%. They're a little unstable, but I think they have great possibility. Here's another ETF that I just bought today. I bought a few of them. Just your typical Vanguard S&P 500 growth ETF. It just takes the top 500 companies in the stock market, and it invests in those companies. Just a long-term investment. Once again, something I will just buy over time, keep on investing into it, of large cap growth stocks. I did buy the growth one because I wanted growth. I didn't. It's a little bit riskier, but I do think they're going to grow. Over the past month, they're up 3.3%. Over the past 5 years, up 91%. Over the past 1 year, they're up 18%. So they're just going to put money in them. It's a little cheap. It's a cheaper one. It's only $195. You could go with VOO, which is Vanguard's just regular S&P, a lot like the S&P 500. But yeah, I bought them because I think they're a good buy. I think they're just going to keep growing. And finally, I bought one that I think is a sleeper. I think a lot of people are betting a lot on it. I think they're going to grow. I don't know what the future of them is too much. But so for last semester, when we went online, I had Chegg. That's the company, Chegg. And it's a software that helps you do well in school, And I was at the moment, I wasn't thinking like a stock investor. I was just kind of thinking like a kid who made paychecks and bought things. But after I did some reading, I was like, well, once again, back to the same reason why I bought Square. I bought Chegg because I was using it. My girlfriend loves it. Taylor loves it. She has a subscription. And I know that kids are not going to be in person this semester. So everybody and their mom's going to be home. And I think it's going to go up like wildfire. People downloading Chegg and using Chegg all the time. I really do believe that. So with that being said, I think that the growth for them is enormous, and I think they will grow up. They will grow at a crazy rate. I really do, and they keep on beating their quarterly buys. And August 3rd, they come out with their fourth quarter, and I think they're just a good buy for anybody to have, and that's why I bought them. But that's all the stocks I went ahead and bought. Where the stock market opens up on Monday, we'll see what's going on. I might let you guys know again on Thursday how the week went when the podcast goes up on Thursday. But a few things I just want to go over real quick. The Netflix special, I think it's called Free Fighters. If you just go on Netflix and you look up bull riding, there's this beautiful Netflix special documentary about bull riding, and it's really, really interesting. It really dials into the Brazilians who lead the pack in bull riding, and it's such a beautiful sport. And it's a sport where it's weird because I didn't know how the scoring worked, but the way the scoring works in bull riding is 50 points for the rider. So the technique they have to stay on at least 8 seconds. If they fall off in less than 8 seconds, it doesn't count. Nothing counts for them. They just they don't get a score. And it's you got to ride a decent amount of bulls to score well. But if you ride more than 8 seconds, it doesn't matter if you ride 100 seconds or 10 seconds or 8 seconds on the dot. You don't get scored for being on there longer. You just get scored on the way you ride, how well you ride, and all that, stuff like that. But then that's 50 points. It's out of 100. So the other 50 points, you may ask, where does that come from? Well, it's interesting. It comes from the bull. So the more aggressive the bull is, the more the bull spins, which is really important. The more it kicks its legs, the more it moves his head around, it gets 50 points for you. So if you have a really aggressive bull, but you have a terrible ride, but you at least get 8 seconds, then you can still get the full 50 points plus 20 from your technique and whatnot. But if you do super well and you ride it for 10 seconds or 8 seconds, but the bull was just kind of lethargic, you don't do well. But it talks about the culture of it and how it's a real sport and how it's growing. It's like the fastest growing sport in the nation. I would say UFC is up there especially with the huge fight happening tonight. But it's a beautiful sport, and I highly recommend watching it on Netflix. One other thing I just want to go over real quick, it's a new album by Juice WRLD. Beautiful album. You know what? No, I'm not going to get into that this episode. I'm going to get in that next episode. But because I want to actually talk about it for a while. And I'm kind of getting a headache now, and I feel like I've just talked way too quick for this podcast episode, and I'm like losing my voice now. And I'm reading, and I actually just finished this book. I'm going to talk about that actually too on the next podcast. Charlie Manson. But I'm starting this new book called I think The Dragon of Eden. It's by Carl Sagan. I'm going to let you guys know about that book too in the future. It's a lovely book. I'm loving it. I'm probably going to be done with it by the time this episode goes up on Tuesday. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. I hope everyone has a beautiful week. Stay warm. Watch out for this storm coming up the East Coast. I hope everyone did okay. Wear your mask. Be good to one another. Invest in your future, not just right now, because right now is easy to live in, but the future, you don't know what to expect. Keep smiling. Tell the people close to you that you love them, that you care about them, and everything's going to be okay. We will come out on top. The world will keep spinning. I pinky swear. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. If you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave it a rating. We're closing to 300 ratings. Leave it a 5-star review. That means the world. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, comment, and like the video. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys on episode 105 of the Michael Lab Show. Peace out. Zip.